I'm in South London visiting my brother and sister-in-law. Their house is really pretty, with a hall that's the whole height of the house. But while it looks lovely, it means that there's a massive heat sink in the middle of the house, which is actually built of concrete and is very cold. So they fitted a vintage stove with a Ricoheat this year. You can see it's fitted right back in the cavity tight to the wall in order to get the top-mounted flue going straight up into the register plate. So the air line goes into the back of the Ricoheat with copper pipe.
Right, with Riff and Cat, with their beautiful stove, lovely Rayburn, shines like Tom's, got Ricoheat, fitted it, and the air comes round on copper. You see touch round there, and the pump is down there, just on the floor. Tell us about it.
The pump's completely quiet, we never hear it. The air blowing is what it does, and this house is incredibly difficult to heat. There's no insulation in it. It's very expensive to heat. This room, when you come in, you light the fire, and within minutes, this room is warm. And it doesn't matter how cold it's. I've had the heating off all day. It heats it up to really warm within 10 minutes. Something like that. It's like having a blow heater on. It's not a big room, but it is where we sit in probably most of the time. So.
Well, I find it astonishing because even before the fire is even established, I have warm air circulating to a decent part of this space, this room. And I think for me, what I'm mostly happy with is we keep this door open, it leads onto a hall. The hall is generally quite, even when we have the radiator on, the hall can have a little edge of coolness. And I think this system has had such an impact on other parts of the house which extend beyond this room. So I am finding that hall, which is a very high ceiling also, it has just lifted the edge of coolness really, but primarily in the space which had become a very unpleasant space for me to use over the winter months. It's just a pleasure, and it's where people now come and congregate, and the children stop moaning about this being such a cold area. So it has been absolutely such a positive change for us in this household.
That's cool, because the walls are concrete. Is that why it's cold?
So it's single skin. There's no void space between the inside and the outside. It was built in, I think, 1918, and really cheaply. Really cheaply. And they tried, I don't know what they tried, but there's zero insulation. So we would normally put our heating up very high just to have it kind of warm. We were up at like 28, 30 degrees, and it's about 22 degrees actually in the room.
Right.
So that thing, to be able to do the same thing in a ridiculously short space of time is brilliant.
Mm-hmm. It's been so effective for us that I feel so motivated when I come in from work in the evening to start a fire and get heat fairly quickly moving into the house. We've been at work all day, the house isn't really warm when we get in, and we can, we're really quite sure this room can be warmed up so quickly just by doing this on a weekday, which I wouldn't ordinarily go to the trouble of doing. So, I mean, it would be almost like in the past you would buy a little fan heater and you come in and switch it on, and now we don't do that. That is, and we get the fire with it.
You put your coal on, which isn't cheap, but then it's 17 watts to kick that up.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very glad you got it.
Mm-hmm. Super.
Thank you, ladies.
Cheers.